students. This is chapter 4 of the Dragons of Blue Land. If you recall, in our last chapter was chapter 3, The Men on the Slope. And that's where we discovered that the baby dragon flew all the way to his homeland. But when he got there, he noticed this little fire up in the mountains near where his family lives. And he overheard the men talking about how they had trapped a group of dragons in a cave. So, we need to see what happens next. All right, chapter 4 is called In the Cave. Oh, by the way, go ahead and feel free to get out your map of Popsicornia and Blue Land, and some of the things we're reading about you'll be able to see up here. But also, I know the dragon goes back, well, oops, never mind, I'm not going to ruin it for you. Follow your map if you need to. All right, since there's no pictures, I'm going to read down here. As the men went about packing up knapsacks and putting out the fire, the dragon carefully crept up the mountain slope. It's a good thing they don't know that the cave does have another entrance, but I wonder if I can still squeeze through it. It was the tunnel through which he had gone when he ran away to sit on the cloud. At that time, only he and his 2 youngest sisters were small enough to fit into it. Maybe, just maybe, I can still get through, he thought. He hurried up the dry, rocky slope of the mountain, racing to get to the tunnel before the sun broke over the rim of the desert. So here's a nice picture for us to see what's going on. There, of course, is the baby dragon. There are the men. They're camped outside of the cave. The baby dragon's family is inside that cave, trapped. You might see some lovely plants around. And guess what? They are snapdragons. You're going to hear more about those in a couple minutes. All right? There you go. I'm going to keep reading. Oh, I'll leave it up here. I have to rescue them, he thought frantically. Over the gap between 2 snow-capped peaks, he galloped and then down into the beautiful green alpine meadows in the center of the mountain circle. Here, streams bubbled down the slopes to a bottomless lake. Masses of wild flowers, gentians, butterfly weed, painted cup, all colors, paraded along the brook sides. In the pastures, everywhere, were giant snapdragon plants. So they call them pastures because that's their food. You know, like when you're a creature, if you were a cow or a horse, and you're out pasturing, eating grass. So for the baby dragon and his family, snapdragons is their food. And so they call it a pasture. They were looking more like bushes than flowers, but the dragon did not have time to stop and gaze at his beautiful home in the great high mountains of Blue Land. Already the sun was reaching over the horizon, lighting up the sky. Here it is, he panted, and he dove into a thick clump of snapdragons growing over the entrance to the small tunnel. He had seen the men across the lake guarding the cave with an enormous net. You can kind of see the net, kiddos. Yeah, I wish I knew what they're planning to do next, he thought. We have another picture. I'll hold it up for a little bit. But it's too late now. I'll have to wait until dark. So again, there's our baby dragon and snapdragons. He tried to pass into the tunnel, but the roots of the snapdragons had grown over the entrance, and dirt had washed in from above.
Dig carefully. They might notice the bushes. They might notice the stir in the bushes.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry, kiddos. That's actually the baby dragon talking. Dig carefully. They might notice the stir in the bushes, he warned himself as he cleared the way. At last, he got into the hole and he started the long trip through the tunnel. Okay, I'm just going to read for a little bit. I might get stuck any moment, he groaned as the tunnel turned corners and gradually dug deeper into the side of the mountain. Always only just big enough for him to squeeze through. On and on he crawled, and just when he thought he would surely get to the large part of the cave, he got stuck. He pushed and wiggled, but he could not get through. Tears rolled down his blue cheeks. I wanted so badly to see my family, he sniffled. But maybe they're near enough to hear me now. And he whispered, Mother, Father, are you there? Who's that? Asked a voice that sounded like his sister Eustatia's. It's Boris, cried his mother. Oh, Boris, Boris, we thought we'd never see you again. Come on into the cave. We're in terrible danger. I know, said Boris the dragon. So this is the first time we actually heard what the baby dragon's name is this part here. But I couldn't squeeze through the tunnel. Oh, I do wish I could. But listen, whatever you do, don't go near the main entrance to the cave. Many men are waiting there with an enormous net. I don't know yet what they plan to do with it, but I'll try to find out tonight if nothing happens before then. I think they're afraid to come in and get you. They don't know how harmless we really are. Anyway, keep calm and count on me. I have a friend who may be able to help, and if you don't hear from me soon, it'll be because I've gone off to get him. Now, I'll have to back out again. I must stay near the tunnel entrance so I can get out easily when I have a chance. Goodbye. Oh, see, here he is stuck. He's going to try to back up, and this apparently is maybe Mom and one of his sisters, Eustacia. And Boris backed out for what seemed like hours and hours until he came out among the roots of the snapdragon bushes. He peered through the leaves across the lake and counted 16 men standing in a row outside the cave. A breeze sprang up across the lake and carried their voices over the water to him.
They'll come out when they get hungry enough,
said one man.
But how do you know they won't be fiercer when they're hungry and have been trapped for...
No pictures, okay? Just going to read. For some time. Me? I'd rather go in after them right now.
Going after them, said a third man. Why, we don't even know anything about that cave.
Suppose it does have more entrances. The dragons may have escaped already. And what about pitfalls
and rock slides in there. We ought to know more about this. No, the thing we need to do is to leave 10 men here on guard and send the other 6 to search for other entrances and to have a look at the rock formation around here. Good idea, said the man who had come down the mountain to the campfire. The wind changed, and the dragon could only hear confused sounds of talking, but the men seemed to be deciding who would stay and who would go. They'll find me for sure if I stay here. I don't want to trap myself too, thought the dragon. Daylight or no, I'd better fly and get Elmer. He'll know what to do if we can get back in time. I hope you kids remember that Elmer was the main character in part 1, My Father's Dragon, and part 2, Elmer and the Dragon. All right, so luckily we're going to see Elmer again too. They're a great couple. They're a great duo. Quickly, he fitted the snapdragon roots over the tunnel hole, arranging them carefully so they wouldn't look newly dug up. Then, keeping close to the ground, he crept through the green meadows and up to the gap between the mountain peaks. He took one last look at the beautiful lake surrounded by the green meadows, felt quite sure he hadn't been seen, and then plunged down the rocky slope on the other side. Up in the air he flew, shielded from the eyes of the men by the circle of the mountains. So if you take a look over here on your map, see what they're talking about. If he's like up here on one of these ledges and he dips down, none of the men would see him. And then if he once he ascended, got high enough, it was too dark and too far away for them to see. All right, I'm going to stop there. That's the end of chapter 4. So I'll see you next chapter. Bye, kiddos.